And we're back with the show. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos.
Ah,
We thank you very much for
it's
listening. Truly
it's
appreciate it.
already begun.
Yes, it has indeed. And I tell you what, he's back again. He is, we're just so thankful to have him back on the show again, even though I irritate him beyond all description with my Pop Culture Cosmos descriptions. It's the man, the myth, the legend of Rob McCallum films, and also, well, one of them, the awesome individuals now a part of the Tiny Titan Studios team. It's Rob McCallum. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm well as doing all right myself, and just so happy to have you on the show here, and we just truly appreciate everything that you've done for us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos and the PCC Multiverse. But we've got to get into some stuff right now. So let's talk first about the awesome project you are now a part of with Tiny Titan Studios. Let's talk some Tiny Rails, and why does everybody need to know about why they need to get into this great sim game if they haven't gotten into it already?
For us gamers out there, we often wonder what the world would be like if it was more of a game, or if we could go down the street and see what our world would be like realized as a game. So, in December of 2016, before I joined Tiny Titan, they released a game called Tiny Rails, and now it's a train simulator. Very casual. It was mobile at first, but now it's launched on Steam. I've come on board as a creative director on it, and I'm overseeing where the project is headed. And one of the coolest things about it, and why it's worth checking out, even if you're not like a huge sim fan, again, it's a casual sim. There's a lot of stuff to do there as a sim player and as a bit of an adventure player. But what I love about this game is you get to pilot your train around the entire world. So imagine what it would be like on a train going through Canada, but a pixelized retro 16-bit looking Canada. Or you want to go on Route 66? Well, essentially, you can take the train version of that through our waypoints and visit all the different pixelized versions of your favorite cities: Chicago, LA, Las Vegas, New York. You can visit the retroized version of our world in Tiny Rails. There's an intriguing, charming storyline for everybody that's a fan of Stardew Valley. This is very much up that alley. Casual, no pressure, no guns, no bullets. Grow your modest regional grandpa's train line to a multi-car masterpiece that spans the entire globe. And, one of the other cool parts is these aren't just like regular train cars that are like rectangles on wheels. These are wacky train cars. We have a sushi car. We have a taco car. So imagine a giant taco basically as a train car, or a giant pizza car, a slice of pizza on there. And your cars can level up too. The more you use them, the more they level up, and then they actual look different. You got to clean your cars. You got to fix your cars. There's a lot of fun retro stuff to do in this, and
But it's also about dealing with the passengers as well, correct?
you definitely got to make sure the passengers are happy, and everything from ticket price management to making sure your train is clean enough for them, that the right kind of cars are on there in terms of food and entertainment. Or if you're a cargo player, you can just ditch all your passenger cars and try to load up as much cargo as you load up from one station and go to another station and become the cargo king of the pixel world, so to speak. And in some of the updates that we got coming out, it really surfaces the cargo game, because we're introducing a really brand new feature. It's a heavy sim element. It's that you'll be able to build actual train stations now. And the way you do that is by bringing your train there, seeing what resources are required to build it, going back to your depots and your factories, loading up, and then bringing them off and watching that station get built so that you can actually access it now. So we're about to unveil the South America portion of our map. We've got a lot of the world filled in already. We're just missing a few continents: South America, Africa, Australia, and a few in the Middle East. South America's next. And we're in unveiling station building, and it should be a really key element that goes hand in hand with the storyline, which is very fun and wacky as well, that happens down there.
Well, obviously I've spent some time with the game as well, and I've enjoyed it as well. And like you said, it's really just a relaxing, laid-back adventure. And also one of the great quirks of the game, and the great nuances, I should say, is that the game runs in the background. So even when you're away, you don't have it turned on. Whether you have it on mobile or whether you get it on the PC, it works in the background so you can see progress made with your railroad company, correct?
Yeah, and this was one of the key features that made it so popular on mobile. So like on mobile, it didn't have most of the features that I just mentioned. It was essentially your train. You'd have a market at each town that you would visit in the cities. You'd load up, and then you would set a waypoint, and you'd put your phone away. And then you'd turn your phone back on, and you'd see where your train is. It could be halfway across the country. Now that we've added more story elements and more sim elements, your train continues to travel in the background, but you just have a lot more to do. And if you want to keep the game on, then you've got stuff to kind of take care of and manage as it travels across Russia, as you go across the Arctic, as you weave in and out through Europe, dealing with the storyline that we have there, which also has a little bit of espionage in it, might I say. And you're not the only train company in the world either. You've got to grow your masterpiece at the cost of making some enemies with more established rail lines that don't like your little upstart, taking a chunk out of their business. So watch your way as Harold Blackwell and his Railco Corporation try to derail you as you choose to go all aboard with your conglomerate. This is the other problem, though. Like, as you start working on a train game, you invariably start making train puns without realizing it.
And well, that's what I did with my thoughts on the game itself, which you can read at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. You can see quite a couple of train puns in there as well, even in the title, so to speak. But one of the things I wanted to ask you with the game as well, a lot of times, actually, when it comes to Steam, there has been a number of games that have transferred. They've transferred over from the mobile platform and ported those games over to the PC realm. Some with success, but a lot of other games that have been ported over have not found the kind of robust community that they were hoping when they made the move, going, in this case, like I said in the piece, going uphill as far as it's concerned to a new station, in this case, PC and Steam. So I ask you, Rob, what was that, I guess, type of thinking and mindset that you wanted to do? You wanted to create for the PC game so that it stands out differently from the already awesome mobile game that's now available.
Well, it's no, we all know that when you play a mobile game, it's a different experience than when you're playing a console game on, the Switch or the PS4, the Xbox One, which is, invariably different than when you're playing a PC game. The orientation, just the way it feels, all three are kind of their own unique thing. So when we decided that Tiny Rails was going to be a good candidate for Steam, first of all, it was part of the Greenlight program, and it was lit within 9 days, which is pretty kind of a good indication of the fan base that we have for this title. We knew right away we had to do something different and make it special for Steam. We felt it was a great candidate for Steam because then we got to take use of an entire full-screen monitor that played at 2K or 4K resolution, which, I have a 5K iMac, and it just looks gorgeous. Even though we're dealing with pixels and a retro aesthetic, it looks really cool to see, like, Mount Rushmore or the Statue of Liberty and New York
Or even
Harbor.
a mini Rob in there as well.
There may be a mini Rob in there as a passenger, as a VIP passenger. Who knows?
I might have been told that, and I might have actually seen that every now and then myself, but we won't say that for sure. So.
Secrets revealed. But we knew the visuals alone were worthy of bringing it to Steam, but we wanted that experience to be more PC-like and less idle clicker or idle sim and revisit later, which is what kind of really defined the mobile experience up to that point. So this is where we added the ticket management to make the passenger happiness matter more, making the cars cleaner, making sure the cars are fixed and the durability on them. Instead of combining cars in the way that the mobile game would work, let's introduce an XP system. So the longer you have the cars on the rails, the better that they do, and you can upgrade them to increase their stats, which allows you to carry more cargo or passengers, and they have a greater impact for the narrative that players usually almost kind of create themselves around the world that we've given them. so we really had to, like you said, it's an uphill battle. Like, what makes a good mobile candidate? And we've had other titles. Dash Quest is still our biggest title out there, even though Tiny Rails is full steam ahead, double pun intended. Dash Quest is, in terms of sales and popularity and fan base, is still going incredibly strong, but because that's an endless runner, it didn't feel like a good fit for Steam. Tiny Rails, its look, its feel, its sim mechanics, perfect fit. It's fitting alongside other stuff. People that have played the current version in early access, which you can grab for $9.99 on Steam right now, before we go full-blown retail, which will probably have a price increase. We'll see probably some mobile-like elements to it, but those are getting massaged into what would be a more proper PC kind of game that suits that experience. The mobile game, on the other hand, which is free to play, of course, with pinch points or paywalls, those things aren't even hardly there at all, but they are there. The Steam version, all soft in-game currency. Mobile, there's the paywall to access premium stuff. So again, another differentiator that makes the Steam experience, one blanket price, everything unlocked. You can do everything within the game, way easier to kind of progress.
And you also talked about dealing with Steam in regards to the green light access and the fact that you are in early access at this point in time. What has that experience been like so far? Because you're going on at least almost 3 weeks now as a game full-fledged on Steam as a accessed, almost a game that's going to be coming out in mass to the PC audience.
Well, it's been really great because in the internet world that we live in, there's no shortage of people with their opinions. So they've been able to identify different bugs for us that we may not have seen, or really point out and emphasize the priority of bugs and stuff that we want to look at, or what other options we should consider. And that was kind of the whole point of early access. We are largely a mobile-based company. This is our first Steam title. We don't necessarily want to pretend that we know that what that gamer's like, since we haven't made products for them. So we wanted to launch an early access and really involve them in that process and get the community kind of being a part of the development team, so to speak. And it's been great. We've had a lot of reviews, and our rating right now is 90%. I think it's 9 out of 10, which is fantastic for the amount of units that we've had and the reviews that we've had. So we're learning a lot, and we're just love that a lot of our fan base from mobile has followed us over. Most of the mobile players that have come over love the experience on their PC or Mac, because we support both. And it's been really cool. It's been really healthy. You never know how a title is going to do, and if you're going to sell 1 million units on day one, or if it's going to be 10 units. But we've been doing really well, and this will not be the only Steam game that we probably launch.
And that's good to know, because you're having a positive experience. Like you said, it's the first time that Tiny Titan Studios has ventured out into the PC realm. So it's definitely awesome to hear that you're having, up to this point, a very good experience. And it's a very, very good game, a very relaxing game, just as far as being able to play it, go through it. I even mentioned, a little bit that's very laid back experience, but I tell you what, it does provide some nuance and challenges continuously throughout, and throws things differently at you. What was that kind of process like, as far as all the things you wanted to make sure to keep the player busy by throwing all those different scenarios out at them during the course of the game?
Well, we did a lot of focus testing. Leading up to Steam launch, we had about 2 months where, 4 to 5 days of every work week, we had probably 6 focus testers in, some repeat, some brand new, trying different parts of the game, what they like, just getting their feedback, and making sure people had enough to do without feeling like a chore or busy work, or that if they had neglected it, it wouldn't impact the fun of the game, because the game was essentially designed to be whatever you want. So you can be this big train conglomerate if you want, and be on top of it, and wheel and deal, and build up your cities, and kind of play the cargo market if you want, buy and sell and ship it. Or you can sit back, kick your feet up, and just cruise with your train and whatever configuration you want, whether you want the wacky pizza car or Doc's time machine inspired by Back to the Future as your engine. Or it can just be your Old West, wooden saloon car, with your Old West engine, just tooting around at your own pace. So when you're developing a game that caters to so many things, it's hard to, when you introduce a new feature, cater to everything, because it can really only kind of hit one audience. So it was a lengthy process for that. And when that process started, I wasn't quite on the team yet. That's been a new thing where I've come in as creative director to oversee stuff. But it's been really cool to witness it and now be involved in it.
Once again, this is Rob McCallum. He is the creative director for Tiny Rails, which is now out in Steam early access. You can get it for $9.99 and get it while it's available on early access, because as he inferred, the price may go up when it becomes a full-fledged retail game for Steam. So definitely want to check that out. And plus, also, you get a great response from the team if you go ahead in early like this, and you'll be able to share your thoughts and opinions, which actually Tiny Titan Studios is looking for as a whole. So definitely it's worth your time and money for it. It's just an outstanding game. And you can actually read my thoughts again on it on popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. But I would be remiss, Rob, as far as at least talking to you in this part of the broadcast without talking about all the other great stuff that you have going on in your life known as Rob McCallum Films. So
sure,
I'll tell you what, you've got, as all the commercials that we play on our episodes will tell you, you got a lot of stuff going on. So tell us, bring us up to date with what's going on in the world of Rob McCallum Films as well, because, you and idle time never seem to go together.
No, they're increasingly at odds with one another as each passing day. Lots of stuff going on. It's pretty cool. Wow, where to start? I don't even know where to start. I mean, my personal life.
Let's start with the most recent news that you gave out to people in regards to the Kitty biography. If people are not familiar out there, it's Kitty, one of the all-time great female heavy metal bands that are out there, and obviously one of the great female heavy metal bands originating from Canada. So tell us more about what's going on with the biography for the heavy metal group Kitty.
Well, the two big pieces of news that I can share now. We just signed distribution deal with Lightyear Entertainment, and the film will get distributed through Universal Media Group domestically. So that's Canada and the U.S., which is a really big deal to us. It took us a long time to nail that down. 9 months of back and forth with to make this deal happen so that it was fair for both sides, and we're really happy to partner with Lightyear and Universal to make this happen. And the world premiere is going to be in my hometown, where I'm currently located, London, Ontario, Canada. It's been dated for Friday, October 27th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. There's going to be a Q&A panel with many of the members that have been in the band coming from all over the world. We have fans flying from Australia and Japan to be here for this exclusive 110-person venue. And there's going to be an after party with some other bands that the other members are associated with, and some special guests, from what I understand. So it's
will there be a reunion type deal during that little after party?
Well, I just know that there's some special guests that are going to be there, and it's just going to be a good time to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this heavy metal band. And the whole project has been really outstanding. It was always one of my wish list things to be able to do, a rockumentary, a music biopic, and to have it be on a band from my hometown with people that I kind of have a connection to growing up. And now my girlfriend, who is a member of the band, her and I are together doing well. We're expecting a baby girl on the way. So this project has led to so much, and it's a massive, positive experience in our book. So it's great.
And I wish you all the best with that. Again, as you've let me know over the course of time how ecstatic you are over being a future dad, and actually just being a great dad right now. So that's just awesome to see and hear everything that's going on in your life in regards to not only what's going on with the Kitty documentary, but everything else relating and surrounding to that. But going back to the after party and a possible reunion, when the liquor flows, you never know.
Well, with like I said, my girlfriend's expecting, which means no alcohol for her, which means no alcohol for me. So no liquor for us for sure. That's all I will say.
But she could be asked to go up on stage. You never know.
She could be asked to do a gymnastics performance too out of nowhere. But when she's 6 months pregnant, we don't know what can happen. We don't know what can happen.
This is true. This is true.
We could happen. You're the one inferring that there may or may not be a reunion at said after party. I'm just saying there's a couple bands that include former members that will be playing. So you will see former members of Kitty jamming on stage, and then some special guests and something like that.
You never know what's going to go
You
on.
never know. That's the thing. You never know. And that link isn't even live for tickets yet. It was made available to the Indiegogo backers so that they could have a chance to know all the details. Some of those backers got tickets as part of their pledge. Other people had a chance to buy it. And I think it's almost sold out already. So this is quite the exclusive affair. Now, that said, the following night on October 28th, it looks like I'll be returning as a representative to the Forest City Film Festival. Last year, I won Best Documentary with Missing Mom. Kitty has been accepted in that, so a second screening of the film that weekend will occur on Saturday, October 28th.
Well, that's awesome again to hear, because I know they loved having you there. You did win an award for Missing Mom during that. I remember that very vividly, and just hopefully you'll be able to, reap that same kind of success there very, very soon at the next Forest City Films Festival, indeed. And I cannot be remiss without asking you on all of your other projects as well, like Box Art. So what's going on with Box Art, the documentary?
What's going on with Box Art? That is the big question. We posted.
I could ask Douglas and Nicole, but they always say, "Well, talk to Rob." So I'm talking to Rob.
There you go. You go right to the source for the answers, right? The short answer is we posted an update, kind of saying the status of the film, and we had some talks with our attorney about what we can show and how we can show it basically going forward. And then I looked at what we had for the cuts, because of course it's a season now. We're going to have 6 episodes that delve into the box art of video games from all eras, from Atari up to PS4, talking to the different artists responsible who did that cover art, because so many people don't know, who the artist is and what their inspiration and why that look and why those colors. And I looked at it and it was good. It was very much like an interview-driven show, and it just didn't feel like it was at the right level yet. It just felt like something was missing. So once delivery for Kitty is squared away and one of my other projects, Masters of the Universe documentary, gets squared away, then it's going to be easier to go back in and dig into Box Art and really hammer out what needs to be done for those last 6 episodes. So for any backers out there that are listening, we're set to deliver December 2018. So we still have over a year before we've promised to get you those discs. Lots of time considering where we are, way ahead of the curve. And we've got a good plan to kind of deliver what those secrets are and who these people are, and let you introduce you to other people that are part of gaming history.
And you got Nicole. Can you confirm or deny you got Nicole at some point along the progress of the documentary, of any of the 6 episodes?
Like Nicole appearing in it?
Yes.
Oh, we shot a ton of stuff with Doug and Nicole, who are producers on the series with me. They run Retro City Games, of course, and Las Vegas. And I pitched them that we should do the series together. One of the angles that we filmed was them coming into possession of a bunch of original box art documents and artifacts and sketches. And so we basically follow that story from them getting that art and looking at it for the first time, all the way to kind of how they want to handle the massive amount that they have. So whether that's part of an episode or a bonus feature is a little up in the air right now, but Nicole is definitely on camera, as is Doug.
See, you're one up on me. I can't get her on. You can always hear her in the background, talking with customers on my show, but
she's wary of difficult questions.
Yes, indeed. Just teasing to you, Nicole, out there, if you're listening. But I also wanted to make sure, I know you touched on real briefly, but bring us up to date with the He-Man documentary you have in the works as well, that you're working and coordinating with, because that, I know, is also a big project coming up.
It's a massive project, and we're nearing the end of that race, Power of Grayskull, that a definitive history of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's a project that I teamed up with the Faux Pop Media guys, a definitive film from their series of definitive films. Of course, they're most notable for doing Turtle Power, the definitive history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have a similar documentary on Conan the Barbarian, almost ready to hit market. And they're also doing a documentary on, I think it's called A Gamer's Journey, the definitive history of Shenmue as well. So there's some nice crossover there. But our project on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe makes its world premiere on September 9th in Los Angeles at PowerCon, which is the He-Man and She-Ra celebration. We are still hunting that perfect distribution deal. We were close here and there. Nothing quite lining up just yet, but we'll be back to the table to revisit that. But we do feel comfortable enough to show the film with its current state, and you will probably see a new trailer for the film in the coming weeks as well.
And one last thing, that's just awesome to hear, because I know that's something a lot of people look forward to. And I know that's been a personal project of love for you there as well, because over the course of the years I've known you now, that He-Man touches a special place in your heart. And so it's just truly great to see that come to fruition finally and going on the big screen really soon. So that's awesome to hear. Yeah. But I cannot be remiss without letting you go, at least at this part of the episode, this part of the show, without talking a little bit about, a couple years later now, and it's still out there, still prominent, still making news.
What are we talking about this time?
Nintendo Quest.
Nintendo Quest. Yep. It's going strong still. It's still running on Comic-Con HQ, which is a Lionsgate distribution outlet in North America, as well as the follow-up series, Nintendo Quest Power Tour. We have a few other pending deals that we're circling for Canada. We're just waiting on some government paperwork, as is the protocol up here. So that's fun in the most painful, boring way ever, to submit long forms of financials and prove that you're Canadian to access tax credits and help broadcasters. But that's where we're at. And of course, a lot of people are saying, when is Nintendo Quest 2 going to happen? When is Super Nintendo Quest going to happen? Are you guys going to make an announcement with the launch of the Super Nintendo SNES Classic mini thing that hits and kind of piggyback off that? And
will you veer to the left and maybe go to Atari Quest? I've heard all these things.
Or 16-bit Quest, J versus Rob, SNES versus Genesis. There's
it's almost like the Star Trek films. You could just literally just make iterations forever.
You could make iterations forever. And the problem is, would it be as special? Would it be as memorable? Or would it just be more the same for a smaller audience? We don't know. We're not closing the door on anything. Of course, we're making a video game based on the film's experience, in which you'll play as Jay, trying to hunt down all the games within a time limit to stop the evil that's infected the world, the evil collector's disease, where somebody's trying to hoard all the carts for himself. So you got to get out there and hit the shops and level up your guy and take out the bad guys who have been corrupted, so to speak. So it's the NES game is in the works, and the film is still doing well and going strong.
Yes, and every now and then you'll see it pop up on Crackle. You'll see it pop up on the funniest one was the PlayStation Store, of all places, that you could actually hunt. And I alerted you guys to that. That was just too funny. I was seeing that. I'm like, Nintendo Quest in the PlayStation Store. Never thought that would happen, but there you go.
Yeah, and yes. The thing is, we don't necessarily know when all these windows get triggered. That's part of our distribution arm, who we sign with Vision Films or one of our subsidiaries. They've got like a whole schedule of where it's going to hit when and for how long. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 6 months, and then it goes off. It's why stuff continues to appear on Netflix and Amazon. This is now leaving. Watch it before it goes. So Nintendo Quest is of the same ilk. In that regard, you never know where it's going to pop up or where you can find it. But if you are out there and you do want to watch it and you do want to help us, definitely check it out on Amazon Prime. If you have a Prime membership, it should be free for you. We get revenue based on all those watches, so it doesn't cost you anything. Some of the other places have a blanket deal where they pay it X number of dollars. Doesn't matter how many views. Amazon Prime, no commercials. A place like Crackle or some of these other sites, it's interrupted in the most awkward spots with buy these tennis shoes because you need it. Now back to game collecting. It's just really awkward. Or do you have dishpan hands? Like, it's just the most awkward kind of segues to things that are so unrelated to the content. So rule of thumb, if you want to watch Nintendo Quest or watch it again or leave it looping in the background, Amazon Prime definitely helps us, especially if you want to see a sequel or something of the same ilk from us.
Oh, that's awesome to hear indeed. And again, this is Rob McCallum from Rob McCallum Films, also the creative director of, the one of the hottest and newest games on early access on Steam for $9.99. It is Tiny Rails from Tiny Titan Studios. So I'll tell you what, Rob, some just great things out there for you. Just truly appreciate it. But we cannot be remiss without talking a little bit about some video games as well. And I'll tell you what, I know you've said you've done your little bit of your homework there in regards to for once indeed, as the man who directed one of the great video game movies that's out there, Nintendo Quest. Tell me your thoughts. Well, first off, I know you got the chance to see the new Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming very soon. to, obviously consoles and PC everywhere when it comes to all that great stuff that it had before, but now is going to be implemented in there in regards to a storyline and even tell me, Rob, what are your thoughts on Star Wars Battlefront 2? How is it shaping up in your opinion? Because I know in my years talking to you, you're kind of, I don't say you're not negative on the Star Wars universe, but you're one of the harshest critics on something that you think if it's on the fence, you're really going to make sure that you lay on it. And that's a credit to you that you're going to give tough love sometimes to the Star Wars universe where it needs it. So tell me, Battlefront 2 and how it's. Robbie there?
I'm there. There just seems to be a bit of lag, so I'm just waiting for it to catch up.
All right. Oh, there you go. There's the. Hopefully, that's not the multiplayer experience right there.
Yeah. Well, the trailer that caught me the most was the space battle trailer. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and my girlfriend saw me watching it on my phone. She goes, "Is that a movie? Is that the new Star Wars movie?" And I said, "No, that's the new PlayStation 4 game." She's like, "That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous." And we had talked before about the love for Star Wars space battles, and you pointed to the Disney Infinity stuff with Star Wars, saying that was at the time the best version of flying combat and Star Wars. And what's prompted this discussion was the lack of that in Battlefront 1, or like the very limited scope of using vehicular devices in it. And I just remember saying, why can't I get an updated version of Rogue Squadron? Why can't I get back to that? No sooner said and thought in my head comes this new trailer of Battlefront, where it's this glorious space combat. It got me excited in ways that I haven't felt since the GameCube launch. I remember getting GameCube day one. Rogue Leader was on there, Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader. It was just a fantastic experience. I feel like this is going to be the same. Where this will fall down is if we get into the same trappings of, here's the Death Star trench run. Here's you and the snow speeders on Hoth roping the walkers. Here's this. With so many Star Wars films coming out and so many more that have been added since Rogue Squadron, at least I feel like we can explore other space battles and have a little bit more combat missions.
And that's what they're doing with, if you watch the video, that it comes at you from 3 different parts of the Star Wars era, correct?
Yes, I believe so. That's correct. Yeah. So as long as they can keep coming new, keep spinning off stuff, especially with a film like Rogue One, there could be so much that they could feed off that happens before the movie or after the movie or in another part of the galaxy. For a film that's all about a whole galaxy far, far away, we're often tucked in the same corner for the entire storyline. So maybe spread the wings a little bit, which is what Disney's trying to do with all these spin-off movies, these standalone, non-saga pieces. So I just hope that we can get a really cool storyline that you can pilot around in and not be stuck to the same trappings of the more famous space battles that we know and have played to death a million times in the Star Wars universe.
I definitely agree with you, and it doesn't look like they're going to change as far as the voice acting is concerned. But you know what? That's fine. As long as the space battles are cool, that's all you can ask for. Some really great space action. Because I think the actual land battles, they've really done a great job with that in the first game. I really think that only needs to be refined only so much. But the Battlefront 2, the space battles, like I said, we talked about, they were never really space battles within Battlefront that I actually cared for or enjoyed, or really not much there at all, especially if you just have the basic version. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. So I'm definitely looking forward to it when it comes out this holiday. And I'm hoping to get a chance to see more as it gets closer to that release date. Another game that I wish had space battles, which I'm not sure is still going to, which I don't think it is Destiny 2. And I got a chance to play the beta. Not quite impressed with what I saw as far as more of the same, and it really it really caters to a certain niche audience that it has, and really holds on to it and provides a little bit better flow and for the combat from what I've seen. But what are your thoughts on Destiny 2? Because I may be way off base as far as from my end, but I know after talking with Josh about it, he feels the same way as well, that maybe a wider universe needs to be added within the concept of the game?
Well, I remember when Destiny first launched, and it was supposed to be this massive thing that cost $200 million and was supposed to be the new Halo MMO game that was going to be the staple. It was going to be World of Warcraft for consoles, but with that first person kind of perspective draw that makes console multiplayer so, desirable. I don't think it hit there, and I think their expansions fell flat, and I think it really like divided their fan base. And for what you got, for what you paid for, just wasn't enough. The value wasn't there. And to have basically stuff that was locked but built within the builds felt really cheap to players who wanted more of an experience.
And it really catered to those who just wanted to do raids. It just seemed like that's all the audience it was trying to cater itself to.
It was very much an end game loopable system, which is something I know about a lot more now as a free to play mobile creative kind of guy now making games. So I understand why they're like, here's the 20% story to get everybody up to the part where the game really begins, which are these raids, these multiplayer experiences where you have the guilds and you do stuff together, because that's World of Warcraft as well, right? You do the instances, you join the groups, you go out and you battle. That was their thinking. What they didn't anticipate for was the volume of backlash with the cut down, non-existent one-player story mode. Battlefront is no stranger to this too, right? And same with Titanfall. Where's the one-player game? Where's the one-player game? Don't give me a multiplayer game on console when I just want to necessarily sit and play by myself. That's where Destiny really was the final kind of nail in the coffin. If they weren't alienating people from the content that they were offering for this big push that was touted as the next big thing, the lack of a one-player, single-player kind of experience really did them in. Then, I think the other nail in the coffin is Destiny 2 doesn't carry over anything from Destiny 1, despite all the hours that you put into it. This isn't...
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
This isn't World of Warcraft where we, unleash, mists of Pandaria and everything continues, but it's a massive new kind of place to explore, a huge island in the middle of the world. This is like a complete hard reset that doesn't seem to have changed too much, except for maybe a little deepening on the story. Maybe the code's a little fresher behind the scenes. Maybe it's a little neater. Maybe it plays a little bit more efficiently. But is it that much different of a game to sacrifice those hundreds and hundreds of hours that people put in there to have a hard reset on that? I don't know. I don't think it is. I think that was the final straw for a lot of people. So now it is super niche, like you said, very niche, as we say in Canada. And it'll be interesting to see how it does, if it is like one of those big games of the year by sales or not.
You're definitely fragmenting your audience, indeed, to those who are going to be loyal to the game regardless, those that are upset with the non-transition from 1 and all the work that you did to 2. And then you got those new customers that would love to get into the game, but since there's not a big leap from 1 to 2, apparently from viewing it already and the time that we've seen and all the play time that we've seen as far as the beta and the trailers are concerned, not seeing a huge, gigantic leap in direction that new customers may want to see. They may avoid it as well. So I know there's a lot that Activision is riding on when it comes to Destiny 2, but I'm not sure they're going to get the results that they're looking for, because I don't see that much of a big leap from 1 to 2. It is cleaner. It does play a little bit more fluidly, but yeah, I think it just takes a lot more and expectations, I think, from the fans out there as far as what they want out of the game and what they want Destiny 2 to do. But I'll be talking to Plasma Z and some of his other friends that are a part of a Destiny group here in the coming weeks, and we'll talk more about that as well. So that's going to be some interesting talk on Destiny 2 when they hear my thoughts on it. So we'll definitely wait for that one indeed. And I can't be remiss without talking to you about Telltale's latest game, Batman Season 2. I know that's something that you also wanted to discuss, that your time in the game as far as either what are you getting out of it, and do you think it's something that's really a lot better than the actual first season that came out, which came out to pretty good acclaim when it first came out?
Well, let me be clear. I haven't played Season 2 yet. I'm still in Season 1 on Episode 3, and I had no idea that Season 2 had been announced. And when I heard the announcement, it was about a week away from Episode 1 dropping. So it was a nice reminder for me to kind of finish up the first season and get onto it. But what I thought was really cool is at the Game Awards, there was that big reveal of Batman from Telltale coming. And it was like, you get this great storytelling from Telltale, the choose your own adventure style, but you get to do it in the Batman universe that works so well for Walking Dead. It works so well for Game of Thrones, A Wolf Among Us, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, lots of franchise, Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, now as well in the Telltale universe. Now here we come, Batman. The 3 episodes that I've played on season 1, I guess you could call it now. Really like it. Really thought it was good. Some good hooks. Very comic booky. Not too over the top in terms of what you have to do as a player, but I'm there for the story. I want to watch it unfold. I want to make those decisions that come back to haunt me. I want those no-win scenarios that Telltale makes you cringe over when you choose, X or O or A or B or however you want to look at it. So when I saw the trailer for season 2, I think it's called The Evil Within, and I saw that it was the Riddler at the center of everything. I was hooked right away because the Riddler is by far my favorite Batman villain. Joker is definitely a staple. He's great. He's fun. But the way that the Riddler uses intelligence to really get Batman under his skin. Now you're speaking my language. This is the stuff I want to see. And for a game that is all about story and puzzles, what better villain to oppose Batman than the Riddler himself? It just, the Prince of Puzzles against the Dark Knight sounds like the best showdown for a Telltale-like game in a long time, in a long series of Telltale games that have always been fascinating, always had great story hooks. Batman Season 2, The Evil Within. Again, not sure on the title, but Season 2 Batman Telltale. I'm looking forward to it, and I want to burn through the other one so that I can start playing on this one and really give it its just due.
Well, that's some great thoughts indeed. Definitely looking forward to Batman Season 2 from Telltale. I know they've also got Wolf Among Us Season 2 that they've talked about as well. I heard Borderlands may not have done as well financially for them, so they probably won't be returning to Borderlands, which is kind of a shame indeed because of the quirkiness and comedy that it does provide. But it's good to see Telltale still, leaning heavily on some good solid properties like Batman with Season 2 and going forward as well. And I also want to get your thoughts on a game that you really enjoyed playing recently, and that was Destruction Golf.
I'm remiss. It's actually called Dangerous Golf. I know setting up our show today, I said Destruction Golf.
Oh, that's right. Dangerous Golf. That's right.
It's called Dangerous Golf, but it might as well be called Destruction Golf.
So what are your thoughts on the game that you've been playing called Dangerous Golf? I know it's from a lot of the makers responsible for, some great games in the past in regards to Burnout Paradise and whatnot. So that I know a lot of people love the destruction modes in Burnout series, and this definitely takes and actually almost pays homage to that type of scenario, correct?
It's exactly that, Gerald. It's from Three Fields Entertainment. They're a very hands-on company. It is from some of the people behind the titles in the Burnout franchise. Just like Burnout, you basically get to see the level ahead, and your whole goal is to cause chaos and destruction. One of the things you may know from corporate America or interesting things that pop up, like escape rooms these days, there are these things called destruction rooms, where you can basically go in and smash the crap out of stuff until you feel better and get your frustration out, instead of, say, taking it out on Jane Doe or John Smith on the street because they looked at you the wrong way and you decided to yell at them. Destruction room. So this is kind of where it comes from. It's also very much, I wonder what it would look like to let a bull loose in a china shop. Because this game basically has you aim and hit a golf ball through several environments that are filled from corner to corner with breakable objects. And of course, the more damage you do in terms of dollars, the higher your score. It feels a little bit more safer and PC friendly than causing a massive car wreck as Burnout does. So it might be a little bit more kid friendly in that regard. But yeah, you get to take your frustration out by, going into like a restaurant style kitchen and smashing your golf ball if you position it the right way and ricocheting it off walls through tons of like Chinaware. You get to splatter cooking sauce everywhere, turning on different burners. You get to take it through like a garage, like a car garage, and knock over a bunch of like oil cans and tires that are stacked up. You get to take it to a museum and destroy vases. And the amount of levels that are there are fun. They use the same kind of level design. There's probably about 15 different levels that get reused and reconfigured in different ways. But you have a lot of fun basically just making a mess of the place and seeing how high that you can do. You can go.
Definitely does remind those of Burnout Paradise and obviously the crash mode indeed, and that's very, very, Very awesome. It is Dangerous Golf, and it is again from Three Fields Entertainment. You want to check it out on the PS4, Xbox One, or PC. That's definitely something to get a hold of. You want to do some massive damage and fun, and just a lot of fun hanging around with the family, whatnot. A great family game, just hanging around, smashing up some stuff indeed. So definitely those are some thoughts on some video games now and also going forward in the future from Rob McCallum, creative director of one of the, well, dare I say it, hottest video games on Steam, access right now. That's obviously available right now in early access for $9.99 on Steam. That is Tiny Rails from Tiny Titan Studios. Rob is a creative director and also the man, the myth, the legend behind Rob McCallum Films. So dramatic pause there for you.
And
so
I should say Tiny Rails, by the way, is rated E for everyone by the ESRB. So it is some family fun. In fact,
we almost inferred to it as far as being a relaxing experience. You can make all these cars, whatnot, but yes, it is E. It is.
In fact, some of the focus testings that we enjoyed the most were when kids were playing with parents and kind of teaming up to do stuff and like killing time talking stuff as you travel between stations, as you're fixing up your car and stuff. So if you've got kids out there and you're looking to introduce them to video games, Tiny Rails is a gorgeous one to do that. To make that experience happen.
Definitely, absolutely. I've had a great time with the game. I know my girls have as well. And if you want to check out my thoughts on the game, it's available on popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. It's available, and some thoughts on the game, including some great footage of Rob and Glenn from Gamercast. Gamercast with J. Rob and Glenn. Got a throwback there. They are actually doing a walkthrough on Twitch on the video as well on popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, so you can check that out. It's definitely some great viewing indeed. But I before I let you go, I got to talk this one last thing, and that's we've reached our 1-year anniversary with the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Oh wow!
It's been
already 52 weeks.
52 weeks, yes.
Huh.
When this will air, it'll be episode 52. And I'll tell you what, since you and I sat in that coffee shop and pondered the future for where we were going to go and move and evolve Game Source as far as that part of it is concerned, and made some hard decisions, had to steer away.
Hard decisions.
Well, steer away from a lot of things that were negative in regards to it. Okay. But also as well, a lot of people were giving us flack behind the scenes in regards to the Pop Culture Cosmos. They didn't think the concept was worth it. They didn't think the concept was good, and they, I frankly got told in my face it was actually quite stupid. So let's put that out there. So I ask you, Rob, you and I were able to overcome all that. We were able to go and actually, kind of after shopping around to radio stations. We were actually able to, and that was brought that up down memory lane, but we were actually able to find a home with a podcast radio.
Hang on, let me have my curly fries.
And we were actually found the great people at the Podcast Radio Network, John Sweeney Jr. and the entire team there, and we were able to make a home. And as you and also Josh Peterson, who's been a tremendous part of my co-host on the show, we've been able to create something together with you, with Retro City Games, with Mario Party Wars, with Game Source, Humanica Media, and Wine Women Awards, and everyone else involved with it. I just want to ask your thoughts in regards to 1 year. Did you even think it was going to be possible back then? And not to mention the fact that for 6 months we are the number one show on the Podcast Radio Network.
Well, I mean, I think you're giving me more credit than I deserve, because it's really been you largely as the spirit and the backbone of everything, the Pop Culture Cosmos, and even the Multiverse, which was a spin-off show that I think started in March or April.
But you wanted the PCC Multiverse. I remember you giving me that concept. Hey,
well, because you had so much stuff that you were pushing that it only made sense to continue going on and pile on the work twice as much. Why not, right?
Right? Why not?
Why not? But
that's what I always say. That's what I always say. 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm editing this show. So
why not have another piece? This has really been a lot more you than it has been me. I've been on a little bit in the last little while and a little bit earlier on in the days, but Yeah, it's very impressive to see the amount of listeners and the amount of results that we've got. It's, far outweighed any podcast stuff that I've been a part of before. So it's really cool to see that it is possible that you can grow a show as large as it is, to have the audience as large as we do, and to have the interaction with the folks and the other shows that are interested in being a part of it. It's all very, very cool stuff, and you should be super proud of what you've been able to do with it. I think, a year later in hindsight, that's enough metrics to look back and think that you made the right choice from the decisions that you made, that this was obviously probably a better, healthier direction to go in than the status quo at the time. So any of those critics can probably won't have too much to say at this point to their concerns. And, I don't think it's a stupid decision after all. And I think the numbers, speak to that. So,
and that's just a credit to everyone out there. Not only the teamwork that you and Retro City Games and everyone down from Mario Party Wars, Wine Women Words, Humanity Media, the whole list goes on and on. I'm going to thank them at another part of the show with Josh. I'm going to definitely name everybody I can at that part. But I just want to say that it's all because of you out there that we've reached any kind of level of success. And it's harder, I know, because we don't have the celebrity names to attach with us. And in this, as you know, Rob.
Whoa. What are you trying to say?
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
We don't have the highly paid celebrity names.
That's definitely true. I don't think.
Okay, there you go. So we don't have the highly paid celebrity names like some other stations and some other channels have. So it's kind of was harder for us to build from ground up. And with Rob's help and also so many others out there, we were able to make it available to so many different platforms. And it's all because of you out there, that we just truly appreciate you listening, and the fact that we want to go even more and do even better and reach a larger audience just speaks to the volumes of the show itself. And I cannot thank you enough, Rob, publicly for everything you've done for the pop culture cosmos. It's just been a tremendous ride so far. So I truly appreciate everything that you've done for us. And I'm hoping for more great things from both of us and in regards to this show and this end of it going forward in the future as well.
Yeah, it's a good ride. It'd be interesting to see what happens for year 2, season 2, so to speak.
I look forward to it as well. And again, I just appreciate it. And I'm hoping everybody out there.
Just think of everything that's happened since then, right? We've had everything, I think, from box art and I'm trying to think of the other big highlights that have happened over the last year, and how different things are from last, like August, when I was still filming the He-Man documentary and in post-production on Kitty and just starting to pitch that for distribution.
Well, your life has changed.
A little bit.
A great degree. And so has Jay.
Less cinder blocks these days.
Yes, less cinder blocks indeed. At least that's good for me, trying to lift them up and downstairs. But also Jay as well. His life has changed. It just a lot of great things seem to be going on. Glenn as well. He's done great at Tiny Titan Studios as well. So I'm happy for his success. And just really just a lot of things have done very, very well for us. And we're just hoping for great things going forward. I know this more sounds like one of your shows, The Trenches, which they can catch on your YouTube channel. But just definitely, even from that time when I sat down and I spoke to you at that point, there's been a massive amount of change as well.
Yeah, that was early December or January, somewhere in there, I think. Oh, maybe it was February. I don't know. This is what happens.
The months roll on.
This is what happens when you have old man denitis. Everything just blurs together. You're a father as well, and I've got a little guy here and a little guy on the way. The days just blend. They just blend.
That they do, but enjoy it while it lasts with your family and whatnot.
Oh, family's number one priority. I've cut back on so much because I enjoy this time with them and who they are and what they mean to me and how they make me feel. So I encourage everybody else out there not to take their family for granted.
This is true, and I definitely will try to follow that advice as well. All right, that's been a great step down memory lane for both of us. And again, this is Rob McCallum. He is the creative director of Tiny Rails for Tiny Titan Studios. Get it today on early access on Steam, $9.99, and you do want to get it. Not only is it a great game, not only is it fun, relaxing, yet challenging game, but also as well, the price may go up. May go up in the future.
It's likely going to go up. I'm not going to lie. Like, now's the time to get it. You get a chance to see where the game's at. You get to participate in the build and how it goes forward with your comments and feedback. It'll go up. I don't know if it'll be $20 down the road when we do kind of flip that switch, but now is the time that you want to get on board and see how we roll everything out and help us make the game as great as it can be.
That's definitely some awesome words from Rob McCallum, creative director of Tiny Rails, now available from Tiny Titan Studios and also available on not only on a mobile platform but early access on Steam as well. Rob, it's been a great great pleasure talking to you right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos.
A year later, it still has not ended. That's silly.
A year later, it's still irritating to you.
It is the Pop Culture Cosmos.
I'm sorry. What can I say? What can I say? It's just truly great to have you on the show.
It hurts
indeed.
My brain to think about doing that impression.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, anytime you need to step on the show, you want to come back on, or anytime I need a hand, or anytime I need someone to help me out, you're the first man I call. So
I think you're just saying that because I did my homework this time and actually wanted to talk about video games instead of just my own self-fulfilling projects.
But it's always nice talking about yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Rob McCallum. Again, that's Rob McCallum of Rob McCallum Films, also the creative director of Tiny Rails. You can get it now on Steam and also available on mobile platforms. Rob, as always, it's been a great pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Look forward to the next time.
As well as I do as well. Again, thank you for being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos.